The fire crews are going through a lot of things here, and the first wave of crews have come back to this warming tent here. This warming tent, the two white tents, inside of there's a heater. There's also drinks for them to get warm. A lot of crews are coming back, wringing out their gloves with all the water. Also, just to tell you what else is going on in the scene, right here in this incident command unit, that's where the chief is controlling everything that's going on. There's also Allentown City Council members that showed up. I talked to Council President He said he had no comment right now. He's letting the chief control this command, and he's then going to wait until he releases something to us. Like I said, they will talk to us in about 45 minutes to an hour. As you can tell, there's still a lot of people coming down here. Some people are worried about the people that are 2 blocks away. There's been one couple that was just taken into that incident command unit that said possibly their in-laws were in that first house where the explosion first happened. Of course, we are working on it, and we will keep bringing you all the latest right here on 69 News.
Well, I heard you mention that they're still working to get the gas line cut off. Is that your understanding?
That is correct, Wendy. The chief came over and personally told me he can't talk to us right now because they are still trying to work on cutting that gas line off.
And then you said that perhaps that's what's feeding the flames. From your vantage point, does it appear like the fire is still spreading?
Well, from what we see right now, it's still going across the street. And actually, I don't know if Albert can zoom in right in between these two signs. You can see the flames still coming out.
Yeah, we can see what you're talking about there.
And everything still keeps coming up, and is trying to get this gas line off to make sure that they can start getting these flames knocked down again.
Well, thank you, Will, for the update. Not very good news at all, actually, that they have not yet succeeded in getting the gas line cut off. And take a look at this.
Yeah, as Will mentioned, the flames still shooting. This is from our tower. Right now, and this is from PPL, and this is from quite a distance away, and those flames are more intense than what they were earlier. You can see them clearly and flaring.
Boy, this is the PPL shot, huh?
This is the PPL shot.
So this is 6 or 7 blocks to the south and a few blocks to the east of the scene, so you can get a handle on how far away this is. So those are some pretty big and scary flames that are emerging still from that scene, and it makes some sense now if Will is finding out that they've not been able to cut off the gas yet.
And I'm not sure what a procedure is at this point as far as if you're letting gas burn off for a reason at this point, or if it is just a matter of not being able to get to it because of the fire. Like we said, we haven't gotten any official word yet from anybody at UGI or anybody at Allentown Fire Department right now. I have gotten word through our newsroom, however, that Allentown Police Department Captain Madero is telling us that there is no official word right now on any injuries. No official word right now.
No official word on injuries yet. All right. Hopefully, as our caller from a few minutes ago, Jose, said, the injuries, if there are any at all, were confined to that house. I mean, it's hard to imagine that there weren't injuries there or worse, but it was his impression that there were no other injuries. That's not an official thing, of course, but he had been one of the men knocking on doors both on his side of the street and the other side of the street, even in the houses adjoining the one that was leveled, the house adjoining the one and the others next to it.
Now, our graphic down here are saying 14th and Allen, but we were being told earlier that it's actually more 13th and Allen is what my newsroom is. Okay, yeah. Will was at 14th and Allen, but the actual fire, some people calling in to say it's actually 13th and Allen, not 14th and Allen, so that explains why it said 14th, and that's where Will was standing. And now you're looking at a picture of right now live, I'm guessing. Is that lower right hand still a live shot that we're looking at?
Wow.
Brad, is that live that we're looking at right now down the right hand? Yeah, the one in the bottom is a live picture, and you can see the flames still burning right there out of a roof of one of those houses down there in the... And
unfortunately, several are involved. The command center there on Allen Street is working feverishly on this, no doubt, as Will just said. And what Will was told is that they're still trying to get the gas cut off. And so that's a big problem. As you look on the left side at some of the video that we recorded just a little earlier of folks who were evacuated from the area, the folks from Towers East and Gross Towers. Gross Towers, the scene of a gas explosion 17 years ago. And now that area of town has been shaken. In fact, it was felt all over the city tonight when the blast happened at 10:45. And, of course, people are now gathering at Ag Hall If you're wondering about people who live in this part of town and maybe can't contact them, Ag Hall is one of those, is a key place where many people have gone, so that's one place to be checking on. There's that command center there in the 15th and Allen area. If people are still wondering, as one of the commenters on Facebook said, if they're still wondering what to do if they're out of their house but just, you know, standing in the cold, you can go to 15th and Allen, and you'll see authorities there you can talk to.
Also, we were told that if you're looking for a place to go, you can go to the Comfort Suites in Dorneyville. They're offering free hotel rooms tonight for the people who are affected by the fire. So if you or a loved one is out of their home tonight, we were hearing from several people who were at relatives and at neighbors' houses, but if you were one of those people and you need a place to stay tonight because you don't feel like you can go back to your home, you're supposed to call 610-437-9100. And they will arrange transportation for you to get to the hotel. So Comfort Suites helping out the folks down there in that neighborhood tonight to give them a place to stay and a place to be warm. And as Rob mentioned, Ag Hall is also an option if you want to go over to that area. We were told by some people an update of what's going on over there. Bo Koltnow is live over there getting some information for us as well. But a woman called in to say that it is wall-to-wall beds. They have the beds set up. They have water, they have food. The people from Gross Towers have been evacuated to that area. Good. We're told that those people are in good spirits tonight and basically just waiting out this situation right now, waiting for the all clear to head back. As far as we know, Gross Towers and Towers East just evacuated as a precaution. Nothing going on in that building. It's just that they are nearby and basically being proactive, getting those people out of there because, as we learned from Will, that main gas line still not shut off at this point.
Unfortunately, a big problem. They're working on that. And just so you know, you see the information that we have on a scroll across the bottom of your screen. Lots of information there, the places you can call. We have the picture continuing here and lots of information at WFMZ.com. And I also might just add and thank those who have now 50-some messages in the last few minutes through my personal Facebook page, and you can look at that online and see a lot of other information that people are offering in the area, and places from all over, people from all over the area who've reported in that they're having smoke, that they felt the blast, and just a lot of information is being shared there on this very trying night. Exactly, and you're looking at a live picture here once again, and the Allentown fire crew's still going strong on this. This happened at 10:45. So do my math here. We're closing in on 1:30, moving into 3 hours now that this has been going on. And you can see the live picture down there in the corner, and 3 hours in, and the flames still going strong down there in that area. Fire crews going at it, obviously, this entire time. And Will was mentioning how not only are they dealing with the flames, they were dealing with the cold. We've been telling you it's supposed to go down to 16 tonight. Right. And they're having problems with ice forming on the wires in that area, ice forming on their equipment, no doubt, themselves just dealing with it, and that's always an issue with the ice bringing down the wires in a situation like this. So there's a lot of issues right now, and some of the people even questioning whether or not the cold temperatures has something to do with the gas line rupturing in the first place. No one knows at this point. Right. Who knows? A lot of speculation, no doubt, by a lot of people at this point, but we just don't have official information on what the cause was. It's apparent to most everyone there and to us that there was a gas line problem, and that the gas line, in fact, is still a problem. As Will said, they're working to get it cut off, and of course that would explain why the huge flames continue some 3 hours, almost 3 hours into this. It shook Center City, and it has boy, certainly the attention of everyone in Allentown tonight. Thank you for watching this special coverage of 69 News as we follow the emergency in Center City, Allentown, a massive explosion in town. And people have been evacuated by the hundreds to safety tonight.
And I'm just being updated now from the newsroom. Like Will Lewis, our reporter down there on the scene, is saying they are now backing people away from that area. You can kind of see tips of heads there, and you can see where we were and the MAB paint. We had some shots there before, the MAB paint store right there. Now the concern is, because this is spreading, they want people to move away from that area because there's concern that MAB paint may be in danger of going up. And if obviously in a paint store, there are chemicals no doubt in there and things like that, and there's some concern, not confirmed at this point that it is being threatened, but obviously the police and the fire and those people have concerns, and once again being proactive, are going to possibly want to clear people out of that area. Will was saying that people were still making their way down into that neighborhood, onlookers, people concerned perhaps even about friends and family in that area, making their way down into there. Obviously, police and fire asking you not to do that. To not come down into that area, because this is still a live fire scene at this point. They do not have it under control.
That's right. In terms of official information, I said it's been hard to come by for 3 hours because obviously people have their hands full. But at this point, Allentown Police Department says there is no word on injuries. In other words, there's no official report that anyone has in fact been injured or killed. That's as it stands right now. Now, Will Lewis on Allen Street. Let's go back to Will. And Will, we were just talking about this, that there might be more concern that things could spread or the danger might increase. What do you have?
Yeah, you're right there, Rob. There's a lot of concern right now. We just heard a lot of people just go, hey, something might blow. We think the paint store might blow. And so they started moving people back. And right now, I'll tell you where we are at. We're on 14th and Allen. That's where they had everything set up. But as they started making that call that possibly the paint store might blow, they started backing people up. As you can see right next to me, they put some more caution tape and they've backed it up probably about half another block. But I can tell you what happened. We were standing right across the street from that, and what it is it's MAB paint, and like we were saying, it's right on the corner of Madison and Allen. Now, when we looked at it, just from the explosion, there were broken windows, ceiling tiles were down, but of course that's not the concern. Of course, all the paint chemicals and everything else, once that goes in there, that could definitely escalate this situation. Like we said, they're still trying to work on the gas line. I can still look down and see flames shooting out from here, and right now the scene is just getting a little more tense as they start to try and make sure they keep that paint store from going up in flames as well.
Now, Will, we're getting people writing in emails and comments on our Facebook pages, and I'll read one to you. Somebody here on 2nd Street, which is quite a distance down from you, is saying they are smelling really strong, acrid smells coming into their houses. We've gotten several of these, and they said it's hurting their stomach. What is it? Are you smelling anything out there? Do you get a sense of that?
Right now, we're not smelling anything coming this way, but I can tell you this. The people that are probably smelling something is probably people that are downwind or in the way that the wind is blowing. You know, the wind is kind of circulating around here, and not only are people worried about the wind and the smell with that, and like you said before, they were worried about the water with the ice freezing up on those lines, because crews have been out here for hours now, and those lines have been taking on a lot of water, and PPL is out here making sure they watch those lines. UGI Gas, of course, is still working on cutting off those lines. So it is getting really bad right now for the utility companies, and they're trying to get everything taken care of as well.
From the sense on the scene at all, I mean, you had been telling us earlier that they were having people back up because there's a concern with MAB paints there. What about the rest of the homes in that row? Does it appear that they've at least been able to stop it from going up the row, or is that not even happening? From
what we can see right now, it's still going up that row. The 4th house was in flames, and then the 5th house was going, and you saw it in the window. And we look now, and it looks like the paint store is on fire, but that's not. Those are the row houses that are right behind that paint store.
I see.
Well, they've not moved you back. You were in the same spot you were in last time.
Well, we've moved back a half a block so far, and they just moved us back probably another half a block, but we're not moving until they tell us to keep moving back further. We want to make sure that we bring you all the latest right here on the scene.
All right, well, be careful out there, and hopefully they've got things stabilized. But I know, as you said, things seem to be getting a bit more tense, which is never good to hear. We'll let you check on things, Will. Thanks for the update.
Okay, well, we're looking once again at a live picture. Is this PPL once again? The PPL cam? Yeah, this is the PPL cam, and from this vantage point, you can just see that smoke that people are talking about, and the smoke is just pouring out of the buildings, and you can still see that orange glow that has not gone away for 3 hours now. Those flames, and these are both live pictures at this point, live from the scene down there in the corner. As Will was mentioning, they're backing people up because that MAB paint store is so close, and there are concerns that perhaps this will spread before they're able to get it under control. Yeah,
a scary thought, and they're still working on that. They evidently have a ways to go. Hopefully they will soon get to the point where they can tell us that they have in fact cut off that gas line, because that will be a big relief if they can finally get to that and get this fire put down. But at this point, on it rages, and even these camera shots like the PPL tower shot show very large flames from many, many blocks away. And yeah, that one in the upper left-hand corner there, you can really see the flames continue and just the smoke. And as I was asking Will, I mean, he said from where he is, and you can see it's relatively clear, you can see that big gray cloud of smoke growing behind them in this shot, though. Behind that building, you can just see it start to fill up. And in the other shot, as you can see here, this wasn't here earlier, the sky just filling with smoke, because Will said the wind is kind of swirling right now, and that smoke is moving. So the people who are downwind, we're hearing reports from 10, 12 blocks away saying their home is filling up with smoke, and they are smelling chemicals or something burning. And you had been saying that about down at 8th Street, people saw ash falling from the sky. So this really spreading throughout the city of Allentown, and involving a large area. Yeah, this note just in from a commenter on Facebook named Amy, who said her dad was at that car wash working when the house exploded at 10:45. She says he was 30 feet away and watched the debris fly over his head and the car wash doors fly off. He was with friends with the people who lived in the house there, and so he is another of many, evidently, who were not far away when this happened. Right. You know, we mentioned the other caller, Janelle, who had driven right by the scene, and boom, the explosion went off at 10:45. Here's a person in the nearby building. The doors of the car wash flew off, and so we trust that Amy's dad is okay. In fact, I mentioned a moment ago that the Allentown Police Department has not reported injuries yet. We could put it that way. No reports of injuries. But, of course, there are fears about the folks who lived in that end house, and a number of the commenters are speaking of knowing the folks in that house there. Obviously, no official information has come in about them or in fact, other injuries for that matter. All right, and we are going to head back out to Ag Hall now. Bo Koltnow is out there for us, and he is on the phone. Bo?
Wendy.
Oh, okay, Bo. I know you were going to try to talk with the Allentown a fire spokesperson. Were you able to do that?
No, a fire department spokesperson has yet to come on the scene, but I did speak with people inside Ag Hall, and they told me that right now Red Cross is here. They're starting to set things up. There is no number that people can call at the moment to see if a family member has been brought to Ag Hall. Now, if this is a situation that becomes a long-term thing, if it stretches out into tomorrow, there will be phone lines available. But as of now, the only way to find out if you have a family member here is to actually come. So for the past hour or two, there's been busload and busload of people. A lot of them have been senior citizens coming from East Towers and Gross Towers. As of now, people's spirits have been very, very good. I've spoken with several of these transplants, I guess is what you could call them. One woman is 95 years old, and she said that everything has been going extremely well in terms of being orderly, in terms of being prepared, in terms of the county knowing what to do and having a plan. 16 years ago, people might remember there was an explosion inside Gross Hall. That, I think, happened in the summer and a lot of people that I spoke with lived through that as well.
Wow.
And they said tonight, aside from being cold, because, guys, it's, 10, 20 degrees out here,
right.
Things have been running extremely smooth. I haven't seen any injuries. I haven't seen anybody be under a lot of duress. There's been, a lot of senior citizens who didn't have a lot of clothes on because, they were just shuffled outside into these buses. But, they've been given little cards where they've been filling out their names, so they are trying to get a count of people. And I have been hearing that they've been evacuating the entire block over in that area. So we have seen people that don't live in Gross Towers or East Towers coming here. So if you have any family members in the couple blocks vicinity,
right.
They might have been taken here. But again, we just don't know how long this is going to be going on. There's still a lot of confusion. They're trying to get everything in order here, but again, everything is running smoothly from transporting the people from the scene over here to Ag Hall.
Now, Bo, we've been hearing from people all across the city through Facebook and email that they see the smoke and that they can smell it. But I guess it depends on if you're downwind or not. I'm guessing from where you are, you're not downwind. Are you smelling anything at all, smoke or gas?
No, I'm not smelling anything. But then again, my nose is stuffed up. Driving into the scene, and I was coming from near Martin Luther King Boulevard and then driving toward the scene, you could see the billowing of smoke come from several city blocks. And I know we've had people from all over the area, from Whitehall, Center Valley, from different parts of Allentown who heard the explosion.
Right.
And I was talking with some people inside the building, and I asked them, what did it sound like? What did it feel like? And they told me that it sounded like the loudest explosion that they've ever heard, and walls shook. Branches I fell down off a tree in front of the towers is what one person told me. And then he showed us some video that he went down and got, minutes after the scene. And it's pretty dramatic. I mean, the flames that just escalated from this explosion was,
right.
I mean, it was a pretty extraordinary thing to see. But, again, people here at Ag Hall are in good spirits. They do have food for them. They have water. They have coffee. And we should, again, find out more information in terms of a telephone number that people can call if they are worried about a family member. That just has not been set up yet.
All right. Well, that would be great. Bo, thank you so much for your hard work. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bo.
Okay, guys.
Okay. And wow, the firefight goes on. The flames are still burning. We see from our live picture there they go, on and on, evidently fueled by a gas line, a source of gas that has not been cut off even to this point. We're waiting to hear that they have, and hopefully we will soon hear that they've had some success at that, at getting that cut off. And we understand that now we're at 1:36, that maybe by 2:15 a.m., Will said that the command center there at 15th and Allen might release some more information. That is when we hope that somebody may come out and provide some concrete information about what has happened here. But that's an estimate. Who knows whether they'll be able to come out and do that, because obviously their hands are quite full. We keep getting more reports from all over town about how this has affected the city tonight, from the smell of smoke now, that acrid smell, as you mentioned, a pretty good distance away, to just the feeling, the vibrations. We have people out in the suburban areas, Greenewald's area, writing in that they felt the rumble at about 10:45 and wondered what was going on. People on the south side as well. And also interesting and gratifying to see that a number of commenters on the Facebook site are sending their best wishes and saying they're praying for the folks involved with the blast. A firefighter, in fact, writes in from Laurie Station Fire Company, Jody, giving best wishes to everyone involved and to the brother and sister firefighters, because he says he knows it's really cold out there. This is a difficult job they're up against tonight. And
in one of our pictures there, I don't know if we can take it, we're looking at the PPL cam right now, but the one from down on street level on the scene where Will is, you can see some of those firefighters right now. Obviously just taking a breather. There in the foreground, kind of in that area of where that command center is set up. probably some UGI workers in there as well, some fire police trying to keep the crowds back. Earlier in the night, you could see crowds down that kind of side street alleyway there, making their way down towards MAB Paint. Since then, Will said they have asked people to move back, and they are blocking off that area. They don't want anyone down that close, a block away, because there's some concerns about the MAB Paint store.
Right.
There. Earlier, you could see flames right behind it. You could see debris from the houses in that block. In the MAB, Will said it looked like even some of the debris may have crashed into the MAB Paint store. He said you could see inside the store, it looked like some tiles had been knocked loose, which wouldn't be surprising from what we heard from the neighbors. We heard from Jose a little bit earlier tonight. He lived directly across the street from the house. He said he felt the explosion. He felt the house shake, and then when he realized what was even going on, he said he was asleep, and by the time he even just got up out of bed and looked out the window, the house across the street was already entirely in flames.
Yeah.
And then he said when he tried to make it out of his house with his wife and his family, they couldn't open the door because the door jam, the explosion, you know, obviously rocked the foundation or the door jam, and they couldn't open their doors. And he wasn't the only one. We had heard reports earlier from people who said they had to go out through their windows because they couldn't get their doors open. So that gives you some sense of what happened with those houses literally rocked on their foundation.
The violence of the blast must have been tremendous. Those houses having been shaken in such a way that, you know, the man across the street and others having their doors jammed shut because the door frames are dislodged and shattered, and then 3 doors down. And when we saw that block of houses from the Google Street View, you could see that little cluster of row houses, and the woman, Karen, who called in to tell us that she had escaped.
Yeah.
And she said, my house exploded too. It's not really clear that the explosion occurred in her house, but certainly there was such a tremendous blast that her house shook to the extent that her roof caved in. Her ceiling came in on top of her. She got out of the house. So fortunately, although there is no official report of injuries, and we're concerned that there, you know, obviously may be, nevertheless, we're gratified to know that a lot of people had close calls and escaped.
Exactly, and that is good news. And we were looking at that one picture full on just a moment ago, and I don't know if we can pull that back up, that top left-hand corner, and you can see right over those police officers' heads in the distance, you see the smoke, but you can see these flames that are growing again. You can see them reflecting off that car, some sirens, but just behind that car that's down there, you can see these flames that are picking up on the ground down there. I don't know if that's debris that's on fire.
It's hard to say what's actually burning.
Street level there, but that perhaps is what Will was talking about when they were concerned about the fire starting to creep towards that paint store there, because that debris in that area seems to be on fire. Now, I know he was saying it looks like from some vantage points that the MAB paint store might be on fire, but he said that's actually the flames from the houses across the street, which is what we might be seeing here. I mean, you can see the reflection underneath that MAB paint store, but it definitely looks like whatever is on the ground there in front of that van does appear to be burning once again.
Yeah, it does. It's interesting. Well, here we have a big flare-up right behind that car you're talking about. I was about to say, in fact, that this shop we've gone to so many times now had, because you can tell by the MAB sign, it had lots of flame showing behind the MAB sign, and I was hoping that perhaps we were seeing them contain this because there had just been a lot of smoke. But now, even as we speak...
Oh, and I don't even know if we can pan. I don't know if the control room can talk to Albert out there, whoever's manning the camera out there. If you want to pan to your right, it just seems like it's
a big flare-up on the
right. Big flare-up on the right off the camera right there. Because we're seeing a lot of smoke. I don't know if that's something that we can get a better shot of to pan over there.
I certainly spoke too soon or was just hoping when I said it looked like there's just smoke and no flames, but of course now the flames are roaring again.
Yeah, he's zooming in there, and now he's going over into that area, and you can see the reflection off the water.
The spray,
giving indication that this is still spreading at this point.
It doesn't look good.
No, and
hopefully Will would get to us. I'm sure he will, assuming he gets word from the command center that they've succeeded in cutting off the gas. So we have not heard that yet, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's obviously the big obstacle that Allentown Fire is facing right now. Just to give you a brief recap, if you're just joining us, you're looking at the area there, 13th and Allen Streets, right off behind MAB Paints, a row of homes right now on fire because of an explosion. People right now speculating that this is a gas explosion. It may have originated in the end row of this row, and now the flames seem to be picking up even more on the ground there. There was an explosion on the end of the row there in the 500 block of 13th Street, right down there.